Hello, good afternoon. I wanted to pick up on Nicholas's question about the elections. Aside from the queuing, we also saw a lot of people gathering as results were being announced with absolutely no social distancing all over Singapore. So, I mean, is it fair to say that we should expect a pickup in the number of infections? And is the task force itself bracing itself for an uptick in cases? And if you are you rolling out, any preventive measures of any kind to either avoid or try to minimize this potential increase?
Well, there were these scenes of people coming together to celebrate. Ideally, I mean, they would have practiced safe distancing. The people who were there, they know who they are. But I think the moment got the better of them, and they perhaps forgot about some of these requirements. But from the pictures I've seen, all of them were wearing masks. They may not have kept to the rule of 5. And if we can find out who they are, and we have a means to, we might be able to identify and take them to task. But I think if you look at the numbers, there are quite a number of them. And if you look at the contact that they had, I'm not sure that they were in close contact for a very long time. But in any case, whether it's that particular moment in time, one night, or whether it is, as I said, other lapses that may happen outside of that moment, it can happen in a community, it can happen anywhere in Singapore. I think it comes down to the basic point. Anytime there are lapses by any individuals, there will be a consequence, potentially. And all of us just need to remember that point, that it's very basic, right? Anytime anyone decides to abandon caution, thinks that it's okay, I do not need to abide by the safe distancing measures, they put themselves and they put the whole country at risk. Unfortunately, this appears to have happened in that particular incident, and I would imagine it will not be the end of it. There will be many other incidents where lapses do occur. So once again, we appeal to everyone to remember the basic fundamentals. Remember, COVID-19 is not over. Do not be complacent. Do not assume that we've got testing, we've got tracing, we've got all of these measures, and therefore it's okay. We only need to look at the evidence around the world, and that's why we've also highlighted what is happening now in many other countries where they had successfully controlled the virus, but due to a whole range of lapses with regard to safe distancing by individuals or by different groups, they see a major resurgence of the virus. We would like very much to avoid this outcome. We are trying our very best in the task force, in the government. All the officials are all out trying their very best to enforce the rules, to identify early any case, and then to ring fence and contain and isolate any suspect cases. But we cannot do it by our own. We need everyone to cooperate, and that's why it is so important that every Singaporean, everyone does their part.
I will point out that we've been keeping a very close watch on the numbers of cases that come on a daily basis. We've been doing this for quite a while. When we moved from the circuit breaker to phase 1, I was keeping a close eye to make sure that there would not be an increased number of cases as we transited into allowing some resumption of activities in the community. I continue to be vigilant about this when we move from phase 1 to phase 2, and therefore it's still a concern for me that the numbers of cases may rise in the community. I'm not focused entirely just on the GE or post-GE setting. There are many other opportunities where just a breach in the safe distancing, safe management rules, if people are complacent and they lose their discipline, we can easily see clusters form. And this has been the case ever since we moved towards into phase 2 with many other activities occurring. We've seen already some cases where There have been people who have not followed those rules, whether it's playing badminton, gathering in larger groups. And we continue to remind all Singaporeans and residents to please play your part, be socially responsible, wear your mask, keep your distance, protect the more senior people we have in our community, in our families. Try to keep your visiting and your movements outside the home to a minimum. Where possible, try to work from home. The entire situation of having more cases in the community can be mitigated if everyone does his part. But from the public healthcare system point of view, we will continue to be vigilant. We have stepped down some of our facilities and resources because our numbers have come down, but they are not taken out of service. They remain in reserve. They can easily be stepped up if we need to, if the cases in the community rise again. And therefore, this is something we will continue to track and monitor through the days, through the weeks ahead.
I should add that I shared with all of you the few charts just now about the different regions seeing a second wave. And those second wave are not a result of any election in those regions. And second wave do occur and can occur regardless of whether or not there's an election. What is important is each and every one of us play our part to remain vigilant, even now and going forward. Never let our guards down, because today numbers are low and we decide to celebrate and relax. I think that would be the biggest mistake. So we must continue to remain vigilant, and every effort counts. Because if you look into the study into detail of the cases that I mentioned earlier, some examples I gave, one or two single incidents can spark off 100 cases, a big cluster. And we have seen that in our SAFRA and so on clusters. So therefore, we have to do our bit and to try our level best to contribute to this effort of controlling COVID-19. So every bit of effort will count towards this ultimate outcome. So I urge everyone to work with us, to exercise caution, to be serious about safe distancing, keep ourselves safe, and keep our family members and our friends safe.